in issue-oriented, issue-based campaigns. In this campaign, I've already given a directive. We have no time to be abusing people. We have no time to waste on other issues. We want to focus on what is troubling Nigerians and what are our solutions. Therefore, we are going to be issues-oriented. This is why we are taking this deliberate step with you, gentlemen of the press, being those who convey a number of ideas to the public to make this special presentation before we begin our formal campaigns and visits to the people. So this is a media event. We want to focus on our program so you will have an understanding. We believe that it's important that the political campaigns in Nigeria be deliberately driven by ideas, by program, by specific issues, so that people know that we understand the issues, we have the solutions, and if you voted in the office, we'll now implement those solutions so that Nigeria can be a better place. So this is a very deliberate event, and I'm so glad that the DG has also given you already a very clear, legitimate reason why we're here. We are very, very conscious of being obedient to the rule of law, and therefore we are here because a competent court declared that I'm the legitimate candidate for the presidency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So we welcome you very, very warmly, and we do want to proceed. I want to assure you that copies of the program which we are presenting today, I'm going just to highlight the key areas, the key issues, so that gentlemen of the press, you don't get apprehensive, you don't worry. We've made sufficient copies so that each of you present here will have a copy of these programs. You can study, you can get back to us, because we want you to help us convey it to the people. Therefore, even before we proceed, so that it will be at ease, we are presenting a wonderful program with codename SWIFT, and it is SWIFT. I'm going to present it to you today, chapter by chapter. It's really a program for the transformation of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If given the opportunity to preside over the affairs of Nigeria, we have a SWIFT, that's the code name, and each of the letters there, SWIFT, stand for a key part of our program. So we have 5 key programs that we're going to present to you today, and I'm presenting right before I even go into it, so that it will be at ease that the details will be available. We are very transparent, we are very able, we are very willing, and we are issue-oriented. We know exactly what Nigerians want, because, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in designing these 5 programs we are going to present to the nation today, we did a survey. By the way, let me welcome the governorship candidate for Imo State, my dear brother, Chief Kashmir Anyanwu is here, governorship candidate for Imo. I can't hear you. Put your hands together for him. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. By the grace of God, Imo will be in good hands. This man is very, very educated, very civilized, very competent, very able. I think I should join your campaign team.
Thank you.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is abundantly clear to us that most Nigerians wish to live in a peaceful, secure, and properly managed nation state, the Federal Republic of Nigeria, a land of law and order, with freedom, justice, progress, and robust opportunities for employment, positive productivity, and prosperity instead of poverty. Resources, we have had a severe poverty of good leadership, with little or no capacity to drive the processes of development. Therefore, Nigeria has still been wallowing in poverty, underemployment, unemployment everywhere within the nation. And we therefore Nigeria is faced with a number of serious problems, challenges of insecurity, challenges of unemployment, challenges of a weak economy, challenges of ruthless poverty that is worrying our people, the issue of hunger and poverty is real on the faces of our people. It's pathetic in a country where we have such abundant resources. For people to be going through this period of severe poverty is unfortunate and is very, very serious. And therefore, we went to town to really survey from Nigerians what are the basic issues that indeed should be tackled if a government is to be put in place that really understands the various needs of the people of Nigeria. So in designing the 5-point program we are presenting today, we carried out intensive field surveys, checks and balances, right there with the masses of Nigerians. And from the analysis of our findings, we have designed SWIFT. The S in the SWIFT stands for security re-engineering. Topmost on the hearts of many Nigerians that we found out is the issue of insecurity. People are afraid of their very lives. The nation where they were safe before. Some of the survey, during the survey, even school children were asking. They're even fearful in going to school. So it's a very serious problem. The other day I was on a television program for just half an hour. Most of the questions were on issue, what is your answer to the issue of insecurity? The issue of security is top on the agenda. And I want to assure millions of Nigerians watching us today that our first major project is going to be, in this SWIFT, will be security re-engineering. And I'll come to that shortly. Because we want to, by the grace of God, restore peace, security, public safety, law and order in the land. The W stands for wealth creation, so as to conquer poverty. This poverty is not for Nigerians. The good Lord has been very gracious to Nigeria. Abundant land resources, abundant mineral resources, abundant oil resources, abundant gas resources, abundant this, abundant that, abundant human resources. Therefore, this is a rich country. It's a land of prosperity, a land that indeed every Nigerian should be proud to be part of. Therefore, poverty really is not supposed to be the portion of Nigeria because God has been so gracious to us. Therefore, we want to shift away from all areas that people emphasize on economic management. We want to deliberately shift on programs and emphasis onto programs that will create wealth so that we conquer poverty. Create wealth so that we generate employment. Create wealth so that Nigerians can move forward because of the abundant resources that God has given the nation. So the W in the SWIFT is for wealth creation. Then the I is for infrastructure excellence and power supply. Nigeria requires excellent infrastructure because in a huge nation like this, goods and services must move if the nation is to grow and to develop. But now it's pathetic. You try to travel from here to Lagos. You have to go through all sorts of alleys of villages here and there. There are no first-class ways. And I did it just a few days back. It's real. I'm not talking about theory. I've actually gone on ground, not once, not twice, to see this. Going to so many alleys. This is between Abuja and Lagos. We don't have an expressway directing us to Lagos. Two most powerful centers in Nigeria. Not to talk of other parts. Network of highways, expressways, railways, pipelines, transmission lines. This network is extremely important because every vital economy must have these that will now be moving goods and services. It's just like the veins and arteries in the body, in the human body, through which the blood flows. If the infrastructure is not really excellent, then goods will not move. Then the economy will not move. It's as basic and fundamental as that. So, infrastructure excellence and power supply. In our survey, apart from security, an issue of poverty, the third thing that was worrying Nigerians is the issue of this infrastructure, especially power supply. How can we have regular power supply? Most of them will be asking us, what is your answer to this area of power supply? Extremely important. And in our program of SWIFT, we want to present a very, very well-considered program for giving Nigerians a very first-class infrastructure particularly in the area of power supply. The F is for fight against corruption and indiscipline. We'll come to that. And then the T is technology, education, and human development. Therefore, welcome to SWIFT. Welcome to SWIFT. And I want to take your time to just go briefly into each of these areas. Since you are going to have the details, I would just highlight some of the key areas, and you will find the very well considered kind of plans and programs and projects that we intend to carry out under each of these very vital things. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me now proceed to SWIFT 1, which is security reengineering. Correct. To say that for any government to be meaningful at all, the primary purpose of that government is to ensure the security and welfare of the people. Government is for people. Government is to make sure that people are secure, people have welfare. That is the top. If you fail in that, you have failed, whatever else you do. Because our Constitution says that is the primary purpose of government. And so, our number one program, therefore, is in this area. And we do indeed want to do a number of things in order to make sure that this issue of insecurity is resolved as quickly as possible, if by the grace of God, Nigerians were to give us the privilege, the opportunity, and the grace of presiding over the affairs of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Security is our number one. And in doing that, we would like to reorganize the security architecture. In other words, the entire organization of the security system is extremely important. We've done our studies and want to thank some of the representatives here of that panel that really looked into this very, very seriously. A member of that team is here today, has already been introduced. They did an excellent job. And the top thing is that we have to reorganize the security architecture of the entire nation. In other words, all the national security agencies will have to be well organized to be able to deliver the services for the people. Extremely important. Number two, they advise, and we take it very seriously, that the Nigeria police, before restructuring, before we believe, and we shall come to that later, the issue of restructuring, which will lead to other tiers, maybe even of the police force, but as of now, we have a federal police. If that police is to really ensure security and welfare and safety across the nation, then we have to reform and reorganize and restructure the Nigeria police. Because defense may be national, but security is very local, to every village, to every neighborhood, to every home. And so this reformation is very important. And just to give you an illustration, and I have in my panel a former Minister of Police Affairs, so we are very, very well informed in this matter. As of now, we have less than 500,000 police to look after the security of nearly 180 million Nigerians. The ratio is just too serious to worry about. So we believe that the place to start with is a particular emphasis of massively, and I mean massively, enlarging the police force. We are under-policed. They are under-equipped. They are under-trained. They are really helpless in a way. They are doing their very best. Given the facilities and given the training some of them have, they are doing very, very well under the circumstances. So therefore, if we really have to move forward, and we must move forward because security of our people is very, very important, then the first is really to enlarge this police force. And we are suggesting that there should be at least not less than 25,000 police in each state of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Not less than. Not less than. As of now, some areas don't even have access. Before a police personnel can get there, the problem facing them would have been over. The insecurity would have been areas would have been damaged. We also want to, in doing that, to ensure, I'm giving a specific example because we've gone through this very, very specifically. For example, as of now, since it's a federal controlled police and the governors of the states are chief security officers, and yet a number of them don't really have that kind of access to those who take decisions in the security sector as promptly as they should, we believe that the level of leadership of the police at the state level should be upgraded from a commissioner of police to an assistant inspector general, AIG. In fact, that level, so that immediately there can be decision making immediately. You don't have to refer to a whole hierarchy. And therefore, within each state, you could easily therefore have 3 commissioners.